Hi students. So today I want to talk with you about doing a book preview, which we have done of course before in class, and you're going to be doing this for the book that you have selected for your fantasy novel. So I'm going to model it with the book that I've chosen, and again, you know, you've got your reading response journal. And if you're using a book off of Epic, you'll just do this instead of a paper copy like I'll have, you'll just be doing it off of the computer. So it's just as easy. So what I want you to do is, of course, put your name and the title of your book, which I've already done on this one that I've already kind of filled out, right? And then just opening it up, and I'm sure you guys have probably already taken a quick look at the reading response journal. If you haven't, you can take a look at it. But again, I want you to stay with me on this study, so I don't want you to move ahead, right? Because we're kind of working through all these together. One thing that you'll notice is that I have these learning progressions, right? And so we've used these before in the past just to think about what we're learning, what our learning target is. And so as I'm reading that, I see that in fourth grade, when we are orienting ourselves to a text. So I'll kind of put this up here so that you guys can see, and then I'm going to read it off of my copy over here. So kind of both at the same time. It says that I preview to begin figuring out the characters, setting, and main storyline. I also use what I know about this kind of fiction to set me up to look for things that will probably be important. E.g., in historical fiction, I plan to learn about the time period. In mystery, I'm alert to clues. Looking at the fifth grade learning progression there, it says I preview the book to begin figuring out not only the setting and characters, but also the possible themes. I am alert early on to clues about the themes and issues that will become significant. I also use what I know about this genre to set me up to look for things that will probably be important. E.g., in fantasy, I'm expecting to learn about the character's quest. So keeping that in mind when you are doing your book preview. On the next page of your journal here, of course, you will see that you do have your book previewing. And you're going to be obviously looking at the title, writing that in, and making an inference. You'll be looking at the front cover picture and making an inference, the back cover, reading what is there and making an inference there. And then lastly, looking at the front pages or the first few chapter headings. So looking at maybe those first few pages even of the text and making an inference there. Based on the preview, you're going to kind of make some predictions about what you think is going to happen in the book. And maybe some things that you are wondering as well. So keeping that in mind, looking at my book, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the first thing that I'm going to do, of course, is note the title. I'm going to write that down. And obviously The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. An inference I have about that is that I believe that these three potential items, characters, are important in the book, and it definitely have some significance. And then, of course, the picture, it's got this big lion, and then it's got these two girls kind of hugging the lion. So my inference, I'm just predicting maybe that the lion is good, maybe even the hero. And then the back cover, I'll read that for you. It says, Narnia, they open a door and enter a world. Narnia, the land beyond the wardrobe, the secret country known only to Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy, the place where the adventure begins. Lucy is the first to find the secret of the wardrobe in the professor's mysterious old house. At first, no one believes her when she tells of her adventures in the land of Narnia. But soon Edmund and then Peter and Susan discover the magic and meet Aslan, the great lion, for themselves. In the blink of an eye, their lives are changed forever. Enter this enchanted world countless times in the Chronicles of Narnia. There are 7 books in all. The Magician's Nephew, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, The Horse and His Boy, Prince Caspian, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, The Silver Chair, and The Last Battle. So kind of interesting. This is a series. So that's actually, go ahead and went and wrote down that what the back cover revealed to me. Of course, it reveals an explanation, a kind of a brief summary of the first part of the book, kind of letting us know what the plot is going to be, giving us a little preview to the plot. And then I believe that obviously we learned that the wardrobe, we learned this already just from reading that preview, that the wardrobe is the portal into the magical world of Narnia, which is cool. And looking at the front few pages here, obviously we learned that it is, this is actually book 2 in a series of 7. So that's one thing we learned right away. And so that kind of makes me curious. These are the chapters. So I'm looking at all of those chapters. So a total of 17 chapters. I'll probably read 1 chapter a day, and you might kind of start thinking about that for yourself as well. How many, how much you'll read each day. You're not going to take on too much because we're going to be digging deeply into these novels. And inference that I have about this as I'm looking at these first few pages is that this series is likely a fairly long and adventurous kind of novel study series. And I do think it's probably got a lot of magic in it. That's my prediction. So then when I'm looking at what I'm going to write down here, right? So I'm looking, I already told you about what I wrote in here. And these last 2 things, different predictions that I had. So you can see there that, I predict that these children will enter a magical world and fight evil. It's my prediction just based on what I know about fantasy. And then lastly here, one thing I am wondering about, I wrote a couple of things I was wondering about. How can a powerful lion be loving to children, right? I think of lions as being fierce, not necessarily like the good character all the time. So that's kind of interesting. And then do they conquer evil in this book? So I was kind of wondering, like, maybe we won't get to the solution, perhaps. I'm not sure. Those are some questions that I have. So a little bit of modeling for you so that you can do this with your own book. And that's all we're doing today is just that preview. So again, taking a look at those first couple pages. All right, have fun with it.